Okay, once again, welcome to those who have just joined. If you haven't renamed yourself yet, please do so according to the format name underscore institution. Thank you.
Ya, boleh tes suara dulu. Ya, mau tes suara coba. Halo,
Iya,
apakah
silakan Prof. Eni.
apakah terdengar jelas?
Terdengar jelas Prof. Eni.
Kurang atau tambah, Prof. Yuli?
Samun saya.
Oke, ya sudah, kita tutup lagi.
We kindly ask all attendees to turn on your camera and use the virtual background. It can be downloaded in the chat section.
Pakai request ya, jangan ask ya.
Siap, Prof. We kindly request all attendees to turn on your cameras and use the virtual background. It can be downloaded in the chat section. Thank you.
Oke. Mau rehearsal nggak? Eh,
Welcome to those who have just joined. If you haven't renamed yourself yet, please do so according to the format name underscore institution. And we kindly requested all attendees to turn on your camera and use the virtual background. It can be downloaded in the chat section. Thank you.
Puja bangsa di sana tempat lahir dibuai dibesarkan bunda tempat berlindung di hari tua sampai
have just joined. If you haven't renamed yourself yet, please do so according to the format name underscore institution. And we kindly requested all attendees to turn on your camera and use the virtual background. It can be downloaded in the chat section. Thank you.
Yang memerah darah, yang memutih tulang, kerinduan untuk Indonesia tempatku berpulang. Sejarah mengakar sejak saya lahir, semangat yang tak akan lekang hingga akhir. Indonesia hidup bernafas dalam geram tubuhku. Meski ke tanah seberang menghabisi waktu, tetap raga ini mengantar mimpi bupati. Junjung nama baik.
A warm welcome to our Dean of the Faculty of Public Health Diponegoro University, Dr. Budiono, SKM, MKes.
Oke Mbak Salwa.
Okay, so without further ado, let's get the event started. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, greetings of goodwill and peace be upon us all. Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Public Health Diponegoro University, Dr. Budiono, SKM, MKes. Head of the Occupational Safety and Health Study Program, Professor Dr. Yuliani Setyaningsih, SKM, MKes. Our esteemed speaker, Professor Dr. Sibyl Kiran, MD, PhD in Occupational Health Department of Public Health School of Medicine, Koç University, Istanbul, Turkey. And Professor Hanifa Maherdeni, SKM MPH PhD, as our moderator for today's guest lecture. Good evening, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and their participants. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to our guest lecture on psychosocial factors in occupational health. I am Salwa Salsabila, and I'll be your master of ceremonies for this enlightening event. Next, I will read out the agenda for today's event. First, opening by MC. Second, safety induction. Third, playing of the Indonesian National Anthem, Diponegoro University Anthem, and the Faculty of Public Health Anthem. Fourth, documentation. Fifth, remarks by the head of the Occupational Safety and Health Study Program. Sixth, opening remarks by the Dean Faculty of Public Health Diponegoro University. 7. Main lecture. 11. Discussion session. 9th, presentation of digital certificates to the speaker. 10. Closing remarks from moderator. 11. Presentation of digital certificate to the moderator. 12. Attendance link filling. 13. Closing. And let us begin this event with a prayer according to our respective faiths and beliefs. Prayer, begin. Prayer ends. We all gather here today to explore the crucial intersection of psychology and workplace well-being, a topic that has become increasingly relevant in our rapidly evolving professional landscape. But before proceed into the next agenda, let's watch the safety induction video from students of Occupational Safety and Health, Diponegoro University, as a guide for the health and safety of all attendees. To the committee member in charge, please proceed.
Audio Jungle.
Safety induction. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, we We are the students of the Occupational Safety and Health program at the Faculty of Public Health, Diponegoro University, serving as the Occupational Safety, Health and Environment team. Before we start the activity, and in accordance with the procedures and standards of occupational safety and health for online activities, please pay attention to the following procedures and compliance requirements. First, position yourself in a proper sitting posture. Do some stretching exercise to prevent musculoskeletal disorders. Adjust the visibility and brightness of your screen. Second, be aware of electrical hazards, such as overloading electrical outlets. Ensure your area is safe from other potential hazards. Third, ensure a stable internet connection, camera, and microphone during the online meeting. The risks and hazards that may occur include fatigue, fire, and earthquakes. In the event of an emergency, keep calm and do not panic. If the situation is safe, please proceed to the nearest open space around you by lowering your head and body to avoid smoke and debris. If you need assistance, please directly contact the public service center nearest to you or call emergency services at 112. Thank you for your attention. We wish you an enjoyable event. Remember to prioritize your health and safety. Together in safety, united in health, striving for zero accident. Okay, thank you to the committee members on duty. Next, let us listen to the Indonesian National Anthem, Diponegoro University Anthem, and the Faculty of Public Health Anthem. Attendees are kindly requested to turn on your cameras and sit properly. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much to the committee members on duty. Next, we will have a virtual group photo session. We kindly requested all attendees to turn on your camera and position yourself. To the committee member in charge, please proceed. First pose is formal. Give your best smile. In my count, 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. And for the second pose is zero accident. In my count, 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 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 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Next is the remarks by the head of the Occupational Safety and Health Study Program. We'll invite Professor Dr. Yuliani Setyaningsi, SKM MKes, to deliver her remarks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, our distinguished Dean of Public Health Diponegoro University, Dr. Budiono SKM MKes, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, faculty members, and all students. It is a great pleasure and an honor for me to welcome you all to today's guest lecture on psychosocial factors in occupational health. Through this event, we will have a great opportunity to learn more about psychosocial aspects which are important for workplace health and safety because they have an impact on both individual well-being and organizational success. Guest lecturer or visiting professor is an ongoing initiative organized by the Bachelor of Science in Occupational Safety and Health Study Program Public Health Faculty Diponegoro University. This activity is one of the key strategies to improve quality and quantity in various academic areas, especially in research, teaching, and innovation, as well as to enhance the global reputation at network that Diponegoro University needs to achieve world-class university status. Today's lecture will offer valuable insight into how we can create healthier, more supportive work environment that promote not only safety, but also psychological well-being. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished speakers, Prof. Sibel Kiran, MD, PhD, for joining us and sharing your expertise. Your knowledge and experience are invaluable, and I am confident that our students and colleges will greatly benefit from your presentation. And also, Prof. Hanifa, MDNI, MPH, PhD as a moderator. I also want to thank the organizing committee for making this event possible and all of you for taking the time to participate. Your presence here today reflects a shared commitment to advancing occupational health and safety practices. I hope these sections will inspire us to take concrete action in our respective fields and continue striving toward healthier workplaces. Once again, welcome, and I wish you all an engaging and enlightening lecture. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the remarks, Professor Yuliani. Next in our agenda is the opening remarks by the Dean of the Faculty of Public Health, Diponegoro University. We now invite Dr. Budiono SKM MKes to deliver his speech and officially open this seminar.
Thank you, Mbak Salma. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear Professor Sibel Kiran, MD, PhD, from Koç University, Turkey. Professor Dr. Juliani Staningsih, as a head of study program of Occupational Safety and Health, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Diponegoro, and also Professor Hanifah Marjani, PhD, as a moderator in this webinar, and our colleagues or lecturers in Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Diponegoro, and all of the participants, the student, undergraduate student, and also master student. We know that in the world of workplace safety, it is not just about the following protocols and wearing protective equipment. Beyond the physical aspects of society, of safety, lies an area that often goes unnoticed but holds significant sway over our well-being. What is this? This is the psychosocial factors. Psychosocial factors are now acknowledged as a major obstacle to occupational health and safety. These factors have the potential to inflict several harm to workers' physical and mental well-being, resulting in significant repercussions for both business and society. Impact of psychosocial factors, the work pressures. This is the silent corporate and fiction days, tight deadline, mounting workload, and constant performance pressure. And then job satisfaction, the full of our engagement. It is no secret that happy employees are productive employees. Job satisfaction plays an important role in shaping attitudes towards safety practices. Interpersonal relationships, this is for building bridges, not barriers. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and the quality of interpersonal relationships in the workplace can significantly impact overall well-being. Positive relationship build trust, collaboration, and open communication, creating an environment where safety concerns are addressed proactively and conflicts are resolved constructively. Conversely, toxic relationships breed tension, stress, and resentment, creating barriers to effective safety management. In this webinar, we have Professor Sibel Kiran, medical doctor, PhD from Koç University, Turkey. She is an expert in the field of psychosocial and occupational health, especially. And she will explain more detail and briefly. I hope you all pay attention and are active in discussing. It is because it's relevant to us as a occupational safety and health to promote and prevent it. Finally, enjoy this lecture and success for you. And thank you very much for your attention. With your permission and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, this event I open officially. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the remarks and opening by the Dean of the Faculty of Public Health, Diponegoro University. To the Dean, Bapak Budiono, if you have other activities or agenda, please feel free to leave the Zoom meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Salwa. Thank you very much.
Ya, Pak.
Oh,
Yeah. Now, we will move to the main event of today, the guest lecture on psychosocial factors in occupational health. Okay, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator for today's seminar, Professor Hanifa Maherdeni, SKM, MPH, PhD, is a renowned expert in the field of public health with a particular focus on occupational safety and health. Professor Hanifa also holds a PhD in public health from the University of South Florida, an MPH from the University of the Philippines, and bachelor's degree in public health from Diponegoro University. Currently serving as an associate professor of the Department of Occupational Health and Safety, College of Public Health, Diponegoro University. Professor Hanifa has an impressive track record in academia, research, and consultancy. She's held several key positions, including the Dean of the College of Public Health at Diponegoro University, Director of the Undergraduate Study Program in Public Health, Chairperson of the Department of Occupational Safety. Professor Hanifa's expertise has been recognized internationally. She has been a consultant for various organizations, including the WHO and ILO, focusing on occupational health services and safety in Indonesia and the broader Southeast Asia region. Professor Hanifa also earned several prestigious awards. With her vast experience and expertise, we are honored to have Professor Hanifa as our moderator today. Please welcome our moderator, Professor Hanifa Maherdeni, SKM, MPH, PhD.
Hi, good evening and good afternoon for Prof. Sibel in Istanbul. Because Istanbul is 4 hours, we are ahead 4 hours than Istanbul. So I would like to share also her brief curriculum vitae beside her full curriculum vitae. Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Kindly let me share her curriculum vitae. Okay, so here I would like to introduce Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran. Actually, she was my classmate when we were in Munich, Germany, for our short course in occupational health crossing border. Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran is a medical doctor, is also PhD and renowned public health expert. Currently a full professor at Koç University School of Medicine in Istanbul. With over 25 years of her experience in the field, she specializes in occupational health with a PhD from Dokuz Eylül University and an associate professorship in occupational health. Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran has led and contributed to numerous international research projects, and then particularly in public health, occupational epidemiology, and healthcare workers' safety. And then she has published extensively with over 45 articles and peer-reviewed journals, and numerous international presentations. Additionally, Prof. Dr. Sibel Kiran is actively involved in various scientific committees, including chairing the Scientific Committee of Neurotoxicology and Psychophysiology for the International Commission on Occupational Health. Yeah, she is my organization mate, and I'm chair of the Rural Health Scientific Committee and Rural Health, while Dr. Sibel Kiran, Professor Sibel Kiran is in neurotoxicology and psychophysiology. So we also met in Morocco 3 months ago. And her contribution to academia, public health, and occupational safety have been widely recognized, both in Turkey and internationally. So, if you want to learn more about Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran, I would love to share her full curriculum vitae so you can have some more ideas on the excellency of in terms of scholarly of Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran. Please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran.
Thank you. It's an honor for me. Thank you very much, Hanifa. And I'm very pleased to be here with you for this presentation. And thank you very much for the ceremony and introduction.
Okay, please go ahead for your presentation.
I can share my screen if it is okay, then I can start my presentation.
Sure.
Good evening to all. Yes, I think evening over there. Good evening. And I'd like to start by welcoming you to this online presentation today. I'm Sibel Kiran. As Hanifa mentioned, I am a medical doctor. I have a PhD degree in occupational health. I am working at the Department of Public Health at the Koç University School of Medicine. I'm also affiliated with the Healthy Working Lives Group at the Public Health Department of the Institute of Health and Wellbeing at University of Glasgow. And the objective of this presentation is to share a perspective with you about the psychosocial factors in occupational health. As you can see here, what we see and perceive is affected by the point we stand. And this point can lead us to the path of reality depending on the efforts of understanding and investigations related to the scene and perspective. Psychosocial factors can have a similar path in the world of work. When the holistic viewpoint put the psychosocial factors as part of a solution in occupational health issues, they can create a sustainable biopsychosocial well-being in cooperation, solidarity, interdependence, engagement, enthusiasm under the umbrella of interdisciplinary visionary approach. When the viewpoint is one-sided, psychosocial factors are kept out of holistic occupational health perspective. These factors can become psychosocial hazards. These hazards may trigger strain, distress, absenteeism, presenteeism, turnover, musculoskeletal disease, work-related diseases, accidents. The teams of different departments like safety professionals, human resources, occupational health professionals, management professionals give huge efforts trying to solve the problems in their part of the elephant. So while talking psychosocial factors in occupational health, I will focus on the occupational health perspective and psychosocial factors and health interactions, psychosocial hazards, risk factors, and related outcome. And I will mention the complexity and evaluation of psychosocial factors and measurement importance. And I will mention shortly management and economic impact. And I would like to share some research that I have been involved. International Labor Organization defines occupational health as a scientific discipline aiming to prevent and promote the health of the workers at the highest level in all kinds of occupations and increase the physical, mental, and social well-being of all working people to the maximum level and to maintain this. This definition includes the partnership and close cooperation among the disciplines, and occupational health policy can bring them together. Management, medicine, hygiene, and safety teams can work together. Being together not always brings looking together and understanding the other's standpoint and view. So we need to move to see more, to understand more. An entire cross-disciplinary approach, entire cross-disciplinary occupational health policy can bring them together for their mutual work, which depends on the management perspectives. Here you can see the umbrella approach of occupational health. Under this umbrella, occupational medicine includes health professionals who focus on health risk assessment, control, surveillance, evaluation related in interdisciplinary work with the occupational hygienists and occupational safety professionals in connection with the human resources and management and leadership. And the occupational hygienists who are trained health and technical personnel focus on evaluation of measurements and risk assessment and control, and occupational safety professionals who train technically to evaluate risks in the working environment and manage and control hazards and risks in communication with a preventive and preemptive evaluation and implementation focus for promotion, health promotion, and training and evaluation under the plan with the planning circle approach. Work life, as you know, work life has started in primitive societies as hunters and collectors, and slavery, landity, and the capitalist societies followed with partial interest in occupational health in general context, like gladiators' health. But the concept of occupational health has started by the traditional concepts in 16th century and evolved till 20th century. Traditionally, occupational health was mostly based on manufacture and heavy work originated physical risks. Latest concept of occupational health is based on biopsychosocial aspects, including organizational and personal factors, in addition to these traditional factors. Now we know that all these clinical or subclinical situations are associated with psychosocial factors. The outcome measures of current approach, in addition to traditional ones, are distress, mental health problems, immune compromisation, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, so on and so forth. And occupationalism matters because globally, occupational health concerns more than 3.4 billion people as workforce. 2.1 billion of them are employee, and it should be considered in global dynamics with a collaborative, mutual jargon, mutual values-based culture and management policy. Biopsychosocial health of labor force is a global soft power. When considering psychosocial factors, the focus is mostly on the trajectory of risks. hazards and unwanted outcome can change significantly in perspective of different departments of peoples. So what are the psychosocial factors, hazards, and risks? Only being under pressure or depend on coping styles of individuals, as like on this cartoon? Only perception, or are they culturally issues? Are they cultural issues? When I first studied psychosocial factors at work in Katholieke Leuven University with a team of work organizational and personal psychology in 2007, I was not aware of some interdisciplinary differences of these terminologies. As a young scientist, in my mind, there was only one type of science, and that one was the positive science. Do you know any negative one? No. Yes, me too. And I have public health perspective to bridge the qualitative and quantitative approach from science to policy. On the other hand, methodology waves and the fluctuations and the complexity of theory and practice affected me. Then I started to learn how to look over the big picture without ignorance, with all of its components. I also explore old roots which search for the same issue in different disciplines and terminology. And I am still continuing trying. We still need to integrate the bio part into psychosocial issues today and the psychosocial part into health as well, in the safety culture as well. And many are busy with the theory and mostly practice in their own fields. Safety experts only focus on some part of safety, and some others only focus on their own parts with a well-defined, very well-defined focus. But I'm on the side of those who promote inter and cross-disciplinary approach with a team building. Because we still need to integrate the bio part into psychosocial issues today, as I mentioned, and psychosocial part into health. And because what we mean by health is biopsychosocial health and well-being. The determiners of health are, in fact, the determiners of life. And work life has direct influence on all aspects of health, including psychosocial factors. The factors may the capacity to change this line in either way. In occupational health perspective, we intend to provide biopsychosocial well-being at world of work complexity. Here you can see this complexity. When evaluating occupational health, we should not just stick to input and output process. We should also consider all macro, meso, and micro levels which could affect health by changing this line in either way. The complexity of world of work has many dimensions. There are factors that might directly affect or has the potential to affect these dimensions. On the left side here, you can see these factors are listed. For instance, work health policy may cause change in risk potential of all three dimensions. These three dimensions of occupational health and safety factors, which can become a psychosocial factor as a hazard or capacity. Here you can see the workplace environment-related factors, physical, chemical, biological, psychological, ergonomic factors in the environment, and then working conditions-related factors such as income, payment styles, working duration, working time, night, shift work, on-call duties, social insecurity, job insecurity, and Work and industrial relation and organizational aspects include unionization, permanent, temporary work, organizational commitment, organizational culture-related issues. The psychosocial factors are extrinsic and intrinsic, and moderated by domestic social factors, personality-related or organizational factors. They are in association with dissatisfaction and motivation, as well as the coping capacity and knowledge, experience, and gender attitude. And if the imbalance of these factors can cause psychosocial hazards and risks and might produce this strain and related reaction, stress-related reactions, trigger some illnesses. Here you can see these illnesses such as anxiety, depressive symptoms, behavioral change, alcohol, drug abuse, absenteeism, heart rate, blood pressure, cholesterol, electrocardiogram abnormalities, immune suppression, injuries, musculoskeletal diseases. And but we can change this flow when we provide the balance and supportive conditions at work. The reactions, cognitive, behavioral, and emotional reactions and physiological capacity can improve, and we reach well-being. To change the flow, we need to evaluate and measure. What gets measured gets managed, as Peter Drucker said. He's known as the guru of the business. And there are models to associate, to assess the psychosocial factors, to associate the working conditions and work-life related variables. Depending on what is needed to be measured, there are some tools. There are many questionnaires, and these questionnaires try to measure in order to manage balance, imbalance, strain, and the stress level of the workers or level of the employees. The first influential model of psychosocial factors is known as Karasek job strain model. Here you can see the model summary, because this one is the first one because it is the first measurable one, and high job demands and high job control creates active jobs. Low job control and high job demands produce the strain and the stress. There are some additional models. After this model, research and development brought different variables, and the additional models includes environment fit transactional model, effort reward imbalance model, job demands resources model, and social support included version of the models. Most of the models are built on the first model. For providing psychosocial well-being, we need to define the elements as determiners. How we can evaluate to define. For instance, which claims that strain occurs when there is high effort and low job rewards, in crisis process-based, not forward thinking, for example, and based balanced all models. There are different kind of there are many various variables, and there are studies trying to search in detail with these associations among the variables in different models. While focusing on the psychosocial factors, what we are trying to reach is pleasured, engaged, and satisfied people in world of work, and all included employee, employer, self-employed people, customer, public, and the world for productivity and workforce sustainability. This game adapted from the Schofeli and Russell, and it is good to know the activation related factors, engagement associated with the well-being, good services, productivity, engagement, collaboration, and success. And then this pleasure and the activation in the literature associated with the arguments, presentism, absenteeism, ignorance, and the accidents. How can we understand which part help us to reach active, engaged, satisfied workers and organization? Each part of here you can see the complex model, and you will see the different models combination on this slide is very complex, like a chaotic, but each part of this complexity have different tools for the measurements as a questionnaire or techniques or tests. There's not yet best explanatory scientific model in consensus, interdisciplinary and globally, but there are many models. There are in the variables in association, the causal relations, and the correlations, other associations, detail, search in detail in the literature you can find. Here we can see this complexity of the psychosocial factors as hazards and outcomes. Here you can see the organizational factors on this corner, and here on this corner, and the other unknown factors in between organizational commitment and employability, perceived social support, perceived job stress association, and nearby the occupational psychosocial hazards and risk factors, there are some other life stressors and personality characteristics, personal capacity and coping capacity. There are some other factors in association with the coping styles or mastering coping with this stress or life stressor or workplace stressor, as well as the self-esteem. And the outcome can be being so sad, nothing for cheers up, and feeling nervous, feeling restless, feeling hopeless, feeling worthless, feeling lonely. Everything is an effort, needs an effort, and all these may produce some other unwanted outcome as like dissatisfaction, exhaustion, sleep disturbances, burnout, behavioral change, accident, injuries, attention-related problems, mental disorders, and at the end, disease. Science is trying to focus on exploring different parts of the models, considering this complexity. But the practice should take all into account to manage and find solution. Practice is not science, but should be informed and supported by science. So Karesek model on the corner, job demands control model, is one of the most widely studied models of occupational stress. And the key idea behind the job demands control model is that control buffers the impact of job demands on strain and can help enhance employees' job satisfaction with the opportunity to engage in challenging tasks and learn new skills. Most research on job demands control has been inconsistent about the variables according to the literature, and the main reasons cited for this inconsistency are that different variables have been used to measure demands, control, and strain. Not enough longitudinal research has been done, and the models does not take workers' individual characteristics into account. And to address these concerns, expansions have been made on the model, such as integrating resources, self-efficacy, active coping, social support into the model by Dimorotti and Baker, maybe from the international audience. However, researchers have only been partially successful, and therefore, to continue reducing inconsistencies, it is recommended to do longitudinal design, both objective and subjective measures, with a higher sample size, a careful consideration of the types of demands and controls for the best match each other for theoretical, and depending on specific sector, depending on specific workplace or company. So recently, scientists try to focus on evaluate all variables and confounders and modifiers together. And this slide was adapted from the literature to show this complexity only, to use valid tools to evaluate one of the core components of psychosocial hazards. And practice, as I mentioned, practice is not science, but should be informed by science and supported by science to build up efficient principles. When we look at these two pictures, by remembering Ramazzini's primacy, prevention is better than the cure. The risks in these two pictures seems totally different, but what do you think about the preventive and comprehensive approach? Yes, the preventive and comprehensive approach can offer similar principles for prevention. Schoffeli, as an occupational health psychologist, suggests a model of work and psychosocial well-being oriented evaluation of psychosocial factors. Here you can see this model in here, suggestion based on the approach to evaluate work characteristics and individual characteristics at the same time, by considering work-related well-being and then the life-related well-being, trying to combine these all terminology for the organizational and the personal outcome. And this kind of well-being can be provided by biopsychosocial supported workplaces. So workplace prevention programs should be planned and implemented. And there are some approaches. The legislation-based approach focuses on mainly risk terminology and risk eliminating principles. But in an advanced level, terminology and approach evolve to preventive assessment and precautionary principles instead to risk terminology. And focus on the people, focus on the workers, employees. And briefly, it is necessary to evaluate these transitive spheres around the workers within the framework of basic principles of occupational health and safety, which focus on evaluating the work environment related factors and work organizations and working conditions related factors, as well as the management policy of that specific company, workplace, or sector related factors. And this can be micro, meso, or macro level, which might differ according to the scale. For example, this can be an organizational level, can change to the national level or regional international level, depending on your disciplinary field and preventive measure statement level. or workplace-oriented level or global level. This means psychosocial factors included in occupational health and safety policy and of the company or of the national policy or the international policy. And when we look at the economic impact and investments on workplace well-being programs based on the precautionary principle and preemptive evaluation of psychosocial factors with a strategy seems profitable, especially in long term. Here you can see the decrease in the literature decreases health expenditure by 70%. Direct and indirect costs leads to a positive return on investment up to 3 in 3 years, which might not occur in first year, but in 3 years might be around 2 or 3.2. Psychosocial factors is an urgent and important issue, especially for preventive level. Business people are already aware of that, and they create the well-being programs, but mostly they focus on the wellness part of the well-being. But well-being means success. Here you can see the graph from, from Peter Drucker. He defines health and well-being as the most important mediator for profitability by saying the people more than employees, more than human resources. People make the things. For example, people make the institutions. People create the customers, members, scrutiny, followers. People create meaning to follow. So organizations should pay close attention to the health and well-being of all their workers, because the success and the survival of every business will depend on the performance of its workforce. Now, I would like to share some findings from my own research on these models that I shared and related psychosocial factors. When I get back from Leuven from my postdoc period, we conducted a thesis about the positive culture. This was one of the first studies from Turkey on organizational culture and job engagement related strain. It showed that it showed us that positive culture is associated with higher work engagement level and lower strain level in healthcare workers. And our logic in this research still worth to study in deeply and needs to be considered to build a strategy to create positive organizational culture. Before building prevention strategy, my recommendation is putting the culture first, because in occupational health and safety, you need to consider culture as not only a decor, but also the producer, main actor, scriptwriter. As said, it is included in ILO convention as well. Workers with positive organizational culture had higher total work engagement scores, and the difference was significant. The group with clan type of culture had higher scores of sub-areas of work engagement as vigor, dedication, and absorption. This study was the first one to evaluate the organizational culture and work engagement properties in primary healthcare settings with the aspects of work organization in Turkey. Our study revealed that the hierarchical type of culture promoted work engagement in workers, and this finding was in accordance with the literature, since primary healthcare services necessitate teamwork and phases, and clarification of work definition is essential for work organization. Yeah, however, we think that this finding emphasizes the role of social sharing dynamics in teamwork as well. Working conditions are important grounds for behavioral aspects of psychosocial factors as well. Here you can see the definitions and terminology quick changes in the cartoon. And we studied working condition and health in healthcare workers, and we found that temporary employment status is associated with unhealthy consumption behavior, smoking, alcohol, eating, sleeping behaviors, and we investigated the association between working condition and health among teachers and found that job satisfaction was better in permanent status. And in another one, we found that long working hours was associated with behavioral problems in vocational school adolescents. So it is important to control the working hours and in the working conditions as a variable to control risk. Shift work, extended working hours, on-call duty, overtime work, overload, night duty, sleep quality are some other factors commonly studied in the literature as working conditions and are still important topics. Personally, I'm interested in sleep-related aspects of work. I'm also certified as a sleep physician with special interest on sleep hygiene, prevention and early detection of sleep disorders. And we studied sleep as a psychosocial factors in work life and thermic central workers and miners in two different research. These two were descriptive early studies in company and workplace level. And during my training of sleep, I joined Turkish Sleep Association. We conducted a project titled Tapes, Turkish Adult Population Evaluation Sleep Study. Afterwards, in reanalysis of national survey data, we found that the delay to work is associated with the lack of sleep quality among workers, and this might be an early sign of absenteeism. Some organizational features like changing or overlapping tasks, flexibility, leading and working life quality are also important psychosocial factors. Working life quality is a concept that is trying to model work-related quality of life for comparing life quality, health quality, and capability related evaluations. I'm also interested in quality-related determiners and their relation at work, as well as well-being capacity, as one of the variables of psychosocial factors in the workplace. We have investigated working life quality in nurses and pediatricians in separate studies, theses. We found that overtime working was associated with lower working life quality in nurses, and over 56 hours of weekly work was related to lower working life quality and high strain, low sleep quality, and more accidents in pediatricians in Ankara. In another study, perception of gender was found to be an important determinant in residence. Gender is important for inclusiveness side of psychosocial factors at work, together with other individual characteristics like height, weight, age, and race. Inclusiveness approach prevents any kind of offensive issues like negative act behavior and mobbing. Personally, I put mistreatment issues like harassment, bullying, discrimination, violence, and assault into crime category of the psychosocial context. I think this should be examined and managed as specific topics in safety issues. We need to bear in mind security is a safety issue needed to be solved by the system. Not present in the slides, but I also was involved in negative act questionnaire translation and transcultural adaptation process to Turkish as mobbing measurement scale, but this issue even more complex due to the use of interchangeable terminology in Turkey. We conducted a thesis in 2019 to evaluate association of open plan or shared office and psychosocial factors with general health status. We found that those happy with the type of their own office plan had lower job strain level and better mental health status. There were different types of open office in the workplace, depending on the section. And the offices shared with more than 3 or 5 or 10 employees. And more satisfied with the work environment had lower job strain level and better mental health status, here you can see, and social support related to better mental health status as well as reducing the level of job strain. My latest advisory on psychosocial factors at work based on the COPSOC, it is current suggested most comprehensive model of WHO, and this study revealed that worse mental health was related to higher demands, work-family conflicts, role ambiguity, role conflicts, job insecurity, poor working conditions, and low satisfaction, as well as burnout. This model tries to evaluate factors and their potential outcomes with a questionnaire as a scale to address to investigate or follow up problematic subfields deeply in a workplace. And the most frequently reported psychosocial risks are lack of social support from colleagues, lack of social support from supervisor, and role conflicts. Then the median value was used to the cutoff point for the mental well-being. It's not a good approach, but I would like to mention it was determined that the mental well-being of the 43% of the employees was worse than the median value, and 56 of them were better than the median value. As mental well-being status of nurses are compared according to the work-related psychosocial factors, it was established that the employees with higher cognitive demands, quantitative demands, emotional demands, and demands for hiding emotions, work-family conflict, role conflict, insecurity over working conditions, job satisfaction, and burnout had general health questionnaire scores above the median value. They had worse mental well-being. Considering the psychosocial risk dimensions found to be associated with the mental well-being status and their associations, it can provide causality and prevention basis for the follow-up studies. So COPSOC can be used as a monitoring tool in workplaces. It includes 24 subfields as predictors and outcomes combination to describe the situation. It can be used individual or organizational level to follow up by WHO. And during my coaching and advisory experiences in different sectors, I discovered that I need to improve my practical part for some more research practice and the policy route. Practice for policy and policy for practice connection. So I became interested in evidence-based terminology when I received training on systematic reviews in occupational health from PEROS, European Research in Occupational Health and Safety. And I continue to learn by integrating the methodologies. Each research in the literature produced its own requirements. And for me to learn the next, I focused on combining methodologies for practical outcome than just trying to answer a research question in a scientific level. While searching evidence from the literature, position of the context might change depending on the research volume of different sectors, different region and practices. Science can direct policy and practice conditionally, while it might not be nourished properly for answering specific questions when there are no mutual definitions and your question is only this. Sorry. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, Prof.
something happened. I cannot see my presentation.
Yes, it's visible now. Suddenly it was missing, right?
Yes, I was trying to find the slide.
Okay.
Where was I in? Sorry about those technical issues.
No problem.
This one,
Go ahead.
this one. Thank you. Thank you for your understanding. I was telling this one. And there's not mutual definition or consensus on many aspects of psychosocial factors. Here you can see one of our study. For example, it was based on the harmonized definition of occupational burnout. And then even there's no consensus about the definition of the burnout and depressions and then association between the variables because of the set of variables are different in different studies. And I was involved in network trying to build mutual definitions for research that I can help researcher to use same terminology and nourish the literature in a more comprehensive way for further research. And I was invited to be one of the AMC member of the Cost Action on Occupational Epidemiology. This is the OmegaNet network. And we carried out a systematic review and Delphi consensus in 29 countries in EU to harmonize definitions of burnout in a systematic review. And in another one, we systematically reviewed predictors of burnout in teachers. There were four main categories: support, conflict, and organizational context, and individual characteristics. Detrimental determinants of the teacher exhaustion were job satisfaction, work climate or pressure, teacher self-efficacy, neuroticism, perceived collective exhaustion, and classroom disruption. And support, conflict, organizational context, individual characteristic were determined, as I mentioned. Employment relation, income, social security, job insecurity, and retirement are also psychosocial factors in a system level. Policy level and system-related issues are needed to be measured with mutual definition as well. So we try to position some of these factors in international research group for EU-based action, and we published conceptual approach for research on employment condition and aging. And here you can see the low income, lack of social security coverage or job insecurity and transition from work to retirement are important determinants for the psychosocial hazards. Psychosocial factors get much higher attention than before, but we are still lacking an action plan in different level. So to reach a national level action plan, we made a modified Delphi study in national scale about psychosocial risk assessment and monitoring as an ILO dissertation. We cleared out the consensus of the stakeholders that there is a need for a specific action plan in national level. And there are many awareness and training programs built upon for workplaces, and one of them is Ministry of Labor and Social Security involved EU project, and hopefully we will see the positive impact. So you can build your own national Delphi study, and then you can try to reach a plan. This is a good. I'm not aware of your plan details, but this is a good area to work with together as well. And I worked on research based on the topic modeling on labor force, employment relations, and health, and to see the research trends in interdisciplinary literature during 2010 to 2020. And we did the topic modeling with the LDA approach. This technique is machine learning technique trying to explore the topic distributions based on the text analysis and time trends of the topics in the literature. So our study base was the literature, and we can see on the linear model that psychosocial risk factors are the second trending topic during that period. I think nowadays it's the top one. And here you can see the others: work, family work interference, and well-being. There is a still long way to go and so much to do. So it is important to focus on the first step to start. In my opinion, this first step is no blame policy, and because occupational health is about changing the future, not blaming for the past. The well-known steps are raise awareness, evaluate, the other step, the first one is no blame culture policy, and then the others, we can add the well-known others to assess, raise awareness, evaluate by communication, and investigate, produce a program, build a team, take preventive action, take corrective actions, build resilience, and follow up with cycle in respect to specific conditions, specific workplace, specific support. So thank you for your attention and contributions.
Okay. That's a wonderful presentation. What about the audiences? Any question? Thank you very much, Professor Sibel Kiran. And I think, can we open for the Q and questions? Or, oh, okay, there is a question from, okay. Okay.
Yes, I think I can see a question from Chris Wardani.
Yeah. He is one of our faculty member too, Associate Professor Chris Wardani. Okay,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you very much. This is really important contribution, I think. Thank you very much for your questions. These are, these variables, how we make a priority. It depends. It depends where you are, and it depends on your position. For example, if you are an occupational physician, you can focus on all variables to create an assessment, health assessment. You can prepare a list of potential associations for a health risk assessment. You can consider, for example, if you are a safety engineer or if you are an occupational hygienist, you can try to focus on other aspects and then potential associations between the stress, for example. You can define an outcome and you can try to figure out all potential associations with that outcome. Or if you are focused on preventing the accidents, you can try you can define accidents as an outcome, and then you can try to prepare a list for all potential associations, and you can try to create measures for each associated variable. And for the manager level, I think it's really important this is really important point, your second question. I think the managers should be aware of the hazards, and the long-term effect. You can convince the managers, especially for the medical specialists and nurses. It's a long run, actually. It's you need to focus on convincing the managers, leaders. You need to create, for example, a burnout prevention team, and you can try to, even though you have a burnout evaluation, for example, questionnaire-based outcome, defined outcome, you can try to figure out what are the associated factors and how you can focus on continuing evaluation to decrease the risk and to eliminate hazards one by one, step by step. And it's a huge another lecture, I think the third one, that kind of occupational problems in Turkey. And I always told my students, Turkey is the complex situations that we, if you learn, this is really can be another presentation, because it includes we have different level of hazards perspectives in the field, but we have a separate act to prevent occupational health and safety, to reach better occupational health and safety condition in the country. I think we have a unique core curriculum among the interdisciplinary team. So we have core curricula for the occupational hygienists, occupational physicians, and occupational safety specialists. This can bring mutual language. This can create a common language among the professionals. So, and this may help to create interact in between professionals. So this is a strength, I think. But there are some weaknesses, because of Turkey is a huge country, the population and then different sectors and quick developments in the technology and many different areas, and then many different level of company size, enterprise size, and the coverage of the system also important. So we can organize a workshop to discuss to compare the countries' advantages and disadvantages and how the approaches, and then thank you. Just the public. Thank you very much. Bullying included. Yes, included. Yes, it is. So I think this is, as I mentioned during my presentation, this is another topic. It should be reported first, and it can be lawsuited. So it is important to. Normally we don't accept this kind of behavior in any kind of workplace. So it should be prevented. Ben teşekkür ederim. Thank you very much. You know Turkish. That's good. How can I say thank you in Indonesian?
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Iya. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih.
Excellent.
Terima
Excellent.
kasih. It's my pleasure.
Syukran.
Shukran.
Okay.
Any other questions?
There are four. First,
Four.
from
I cannot
Maharani.
see the questions, I think.
Yeah, Maharani is the undergraduate
Welcome.
student in occupational safety and health. Please, Maharani.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I am Marani from Occupational Safety and Health, Diponegoro University. From the material that you gave, I saw that looking back for dimension of occupational safety and health from the background, a background dimension, I saw that there are like status, and then the economics from the workers. Now I want to ask, every workers always have peer pressure on their workplace, and some of them might have a competition with other workers. So how to cope or how to manage it to be positive energy in the environment or the workplace? That's for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good question, actually. I think it depends. It depends on the sector or the size of the company. If it is in an organization, for example, in organizational culture, there are some, especially for the positive organizational culture, there are dimensions, and then competition is a part of dimension among this. The four leg of this organizational culture, for example, clan autocracy, competition, and then the bureaucracy, kind of. It should be in balanced. So for improving productivity, they use this kind of competition outside of the company, for example. In the company, they prefer to adopt this kind of competition to the solidarity, to promote solidarity in the company, and then to create a competitive approach for outsiders, for example. There are different kind of techniques, but for psychosocial, as a psychosocial risk factor, it is important to build supportive environment, supportive, positive environment at work, at least one referral line, or to build an accessible services for consulting, especially for psychosocial factors. At least one person they need to reach, one experienced person, if they are in a struggle. For example, for the employee, it is really important to reach at least one professional support consultant. But if you don't have this kind of sources in a company, you can build this kind of services, employee services, at the system level. You can include this primary care, for example. You can prepare a system, for example, for phone consulting in the country. It depends. So we need to work on it as a project. We need to understand the conditions, and then we need to understand the degree of the requirements and the necessities, and then we need to create a system depending on the level.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next, there is another question from Novika. Please, Novika.
Novika.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. For starters, good evening, Dr. Kiran. I'm
evening.
Novika Dindasari from FKM Undip. I would like to ask, it can be said that in many jobs in sectors such as mining, the majority worker is male. In this position, is there any possibility that female worker can feel greater insecurity or pressure due to unbalanced gender? And what should we do as a female worker so that we not feel less safe and entering such as work environment like that? Thank you.
Never give up. Never give up. It will be balanced in future. So work hard, and it is really important. You know, this is the gender inclusiveness and then gender support. It's a huge topic actually, but it is important to create a culture for the inclusiveness. We need to we need to start from childhood till adulthood and to be inclusive for all, in equity, in any kind of work, in any kind of work environment or life environment. Never give up.
Thank you, Dr. Kiran.
Welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. This is now male, not female. Okay. So, Fakih, please.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, and thank you to Professor Sibel Kiran for giving me the opportunity to ask question and learn to deepen my understanding. My name is Fakih Ahmad Fatir Arifin
Nice
from the
meeting.
Occupational Safety and Health Program at Diponegoro University, and I would like to ask about psychosocial risk, if not properly addressed, can have far-reaching consequences on both individual well-being and organizational performance. In many cases, the effect of the prolonged stress, lack of support, and unhealthy work environment might not be immediately visible, but over time, they can significantly impact both the health of work and the overall productivity and a company. Considering the importance of addressing these issues, my question is, what are the long-term impact of another psychosocial risk on work's health and productivity?
Thank you very much. This is really a core question of the long term. There are individual outcomes. There can be some individual outcomes as disease, first sickness, illness, or disorders, afterwards disease. Think about it if a behavioral change, for example, the alcohol consumption or sleepless, in long run cardiovascular disease already associated with the stress and related factors, immune compromise, human reactions, inflammatory process, as well as musculoskeletal diseases, and then there are all kind of these early signs are really important to prevent unwanted outcome. In the long run, if someone lose their health, they will use health services excessively, and there will be, the economic impact will be on both sides. People cannot work. People need to receive some health services, and the economic impact will be doubled. So in long run, we will lose the skilled employee as well. Sorry?
No
Okay.
problem. Okay.
You like to add something? Yeah, there are stress-related disorders. Yes.
Okay.
Fakih?
Fakih, are you done?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. So, okay, now is Kernis, I think. Kernis, please.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Good evening to Professor Sibel Kiram from Turkey and Professor Hanifa.
Okay.
So thank you for the opportunity. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Kernis Putri Sloni Laili. You can call me Kernis, and I'm majoring in Occupational Safety and Health 2024. So
Huh?
basically, my question is quite different from the others. I want to ask about your own experience. I would like to ask, have you experienced something that disturbed your psychosocial and health in your work, where yourself are a health pioneer as a occupational health and safety specialist because our job is very close to the community, very close to the society. Sometimes we focus too much on the others and forget ourselves and ignore the danger that could happen. So I want to ask if when that happens to you or to me or to ourselves here, what should we do to overcome it? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's a really difficult question, actually. Yes, because I'm a bit workaholic, and then the work-life balance is one of the most important struggle for me, actually. And the woman at work and gender issues create some extra burden sometimes. So if you are a workaholic and then if you cannot create a good work-life balance in depending on some circumstances, because this is my preference sometimes. So in the long run, you need to for example, lack of sleep and lack of sleep quality, maybe if you don't create a supportive environment for this, uh, this this may create some disease as well. But I'm trying to create good supportive condition for me myself, especially. I'm trying to do supports to compensate this kind of you know and if to balance um, my fitness especially, so that I can use the time much more efficient way, and I'm trying to create the personal time for myself uh, to balance again. Uh, it is really important to create some buffer areas. So this is my suggestion. Even though not only your work conditions, maybe you can create your own psychosocial hazards. So uh, because what the most important thing, how you can cope with in any condition. What will be your own approach, for example? As being an occupational health professional, I'm lucky. So when I notice this kind of things, I'm tended to give some suggestions or offer support to my friends, but uh, I am doing same thing to myself. And I'm trying to be a good model for this. Um, even though some periods, if I cannot, I'm trying to fit it again. So additionally, we have a good system in here for this supportive environment. This is my chance. We have many good opportunities. So I'm lucky. Thank you.
Okay. That's
Thank
all the
you,
magic
Prof.
trick, right?
Yes.
Magic tricks to cope with our work-life balance. So, okay, Candice, are you okay?
Yes, Prof. Thank you.
Okay. So the next, they're so excited. Okay. Okay, Abiyu. Okay.
Very
Please.
exciting. Abiyu, hi.
Hi, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Abiyu Amatusaini. I'm called Abiyu. I am from a environmental health and safety from Undip. Allow me to ask my question. My question might be slightly off topic, but I really want to ask, is there some kind of general sign if a psychological factor is impacting you? Like, is there like a certain thing that most people experience, or some very common signs that someone is psychosocially or psychologically affected, and that could become a problem in protecting their health? That is my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Actually, it is really, yeah, there are some variables for, as a common type of science. like anxiety, distress, and then long-term distress creates some depressive symptoms or loneliness, feeling lonely, social isolation, but all depends on the personality as well. So we cannot generalize this kind of signs. We focus the individual. We need to focus on exact needs and exact signs under that specific circumstances for specific individual. So there is no one pill for all.
Okay. So you don't have any like very general way of like understanding if someone is happening.
Yeah, there are many. We call it, these are the earliest, we are trying to research by evaluating these variables. As I presented in the complex slide, do you remember that slide? There were many different factors, and then each factors have some 4 or 5 components, for example. In this complexity, we can try to understand which are exist or not exist, or we can try to focus on the outcome. If there is any disturbances or any disorders level of the sickness, illness, any kind of sign, we need to consider there might be another possibility based on the psychosocial hazards, because some of the physical symptoms based on the long-term psychosocial hazards. So we need to evaluate that specific condition for specific person. Even though there are many defined signs for this kind of for psychosocial risks, we should consider that specific person and that specific circumstances that I wanted to emphasize.
Okay, thank you very much. That
Yeah,
has
there
answered
are
a lot of my
many
questions.
signs. In the literature based on this science. So we are creating some questionnaires to evaluate if some people have this sign, if they have this kind of conditions, for example. Yeah,
Thank you
there are
very
some
much.
exposure factors and potential outcomes. So we need to be aware of all these potential exposures and their potential associations with any kind of outcome. Sometimes this can be an absenteeism, sometimes this can be a delay to work, sometimes this can be a sleep related problems, sometimes this can be gastrointestinal problems. People may feel sick, or people may feel sleepy, or people may feel lazy, can be a sign. So it depends. I think the most important thing to focus on any kind of disturbances and evaluate that disturbances for potential disorders, disease, or for potential hazards and exposures. We should consider both sides on that specific condition.
Crystal clear? Abby? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. One chat, is it okay? One more chat. Winda
Sorry, I
Basti.
haven't seen that one. Okay, I'll look at. Permission to ask, sir, I cannot use Encam. Do problem that we need. Winda, nice to meet you. Do you want to find? Yes, this is a very good question. This is planetary health, and then the year topic. This year, the global warming and then planetary health issues. It is hugely contributes on health. The social, economic, including social and economic pressure, but also direct. Yeah, also have the direct influence on health as well, direct influence on psychosocial factors. Do you remember the dimensions I showed in a circle, the working environment is one of the main important dimension of the psychosocial hazards. For example, if you need to work under the heat stress, you need to manage at the same time heat stress and a heat stress related psychosocial factors, or if this is the immediate environment of the workers. But when we consider the planetary health level, every aspects includes some micro, meso, and macro concerns. So it's thank you very much for bringing the table to this question. Thank you very much for this. This is a very good point. Environmental issues have potential influence on psychosocial hazards directly and indirectly. Exactly. Think about this, the working environment, for example, even though when you use some personal protective equipment, if someone have to use personal protective equipment continuously, and then working climate if working climate have an effect on that personal protective equipment, some aspects, but working with personal protective equipment also have its own psychosocial influence as well. Thank you. Winda.
Hello, Winda. Okay. Yeah, she got it.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Until what time do you have a time? I think we apologize that it's delayed your time to go home. It's also
No
affect
worries, no
your
worries. My
psychosocial.
pleasure.
Okay. Let me summarize your presentation. Is it okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. So if maybe I made a wrong summary, but I
I'll
tried
be
to
more than
define it.
happy to hear, yes, your students.
Okay. So, okay. So this is the summary that I will also send you the summary and question and answer so you can have the documentation too. So summary of psychosocial and occupational health. The presentation title is actually Psychosocial Factor in Occupational Health by Professor Sibel Kiran and focuses on influence of psychosocial factors within occupational health, aiming to maximize the physical, mental, and social well-being of workers. It highlights that occupational health is not just about preventing physical injuries, but also addressing the mental health and psychological well-being of employees, particularly in high-stress environments. Is it correct?
Yeah, not only high stress environments, actually, I would prefer to use the biopsychosocial well-being, because the bio part also needed to be included in well-being, especially when we consider the psychological well-being, biopsychological, biopsychosocial well-being. No, that part in the any working environment, not only high stress environment, we can say particularly high stress environments, but not only high stress environment.
Okay.
Any type of work has its own psychosocial hazards potential.
Okay.
If we have the chance, if we build the precautionary, if we apply the precautionary principles, and if our approach is a preemptive approach, we can prevent them, and then that environment won't be a high stress environment. But if we don't care, and the low level of stress factors, we might create some high level of stress environment in any kind of work as well. So the biopsychosocial well-being, not only the mental health, when we consider the well-being, I mean, it's not only mental well-being, it is biopsychosocial well-being, I mean. the addressing the mental health status based on the biopsychosocial well-being. It is associated with the biopsychosocial well-being. And biopsychosocial well-being associated with the psychosocial hazards, because biological connection is already well known. The higher stress level have an effect on the biology of the human biology, and then the stress, distress, and stress-related symptoms. With the other factors, if there is no support, no coping styles, or no supportive system level, if we can't prevent these kind of factors, there will be some biological outcome.
Okay.
We know the sleep disorders and healthy behavior, cardiovascular disease, cortisol levels, inflammatory process might trigger with this kind of stress as well.
Okay. And then there is also key points, right? Your occupational health overview. And then
it is important to include the hazard assessment before the risk assessment, actually. My focus, my main focus to evaluate the disturbances and hazards.
Oh, okay.
This is my suggestion, my specific suggestion, focusing on the disturbances at any level, and then to define the hazards to prevent. Disturbances elimination, you can say. Disturbances elimination as a preemptive approach with the precautionary principle.
Precautionary?
Yes.
Okay.
With the precautionary principles.
Okay. And then psychosocial risk. Did you mention about stress, mental health?
Yeah, we can say.
Okay.
Yes.
Impact of psychosocial factors. Did you mention about stress and psychosocial demands at work? Was it right?
Yes, not only I would like to highlight the models over there. Maybe because we can indicate there are models which try to which try to understand and eliminate the risks. So the models, Karasek models, and theory, other models, maybe young.
And then?
Yeah, the model indicates to give us understanding to eliminate the risk. Yeah, to know the models is important to create a specific approach for specific sector or company, because there are many models to understand the impact, and we can try to understand which model is best suited to our condition and how we can improve how we can prepare successful management programs to prevent psychosocial hazards. Not only one model, there are literature-based models. So it is important to produce data. The root is important. The data, information, knowledge, wise policy, and practice. So the literature-based information to absorb the literature and adapt your own condition. Yeah, the organization first, yes, and then adapt this for specific conditions, specific sector, and the others.
Okay. And then the organizational role need to
Yeah,
monitor and manage.
yes, and not only monitor, to start with the evaluation, and it will be organization to start with the evaluation and the mutual understanding, and then monitor and manage factors. Not only the job demands, manage factors. Yeah, this is the only example. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is important to create longitudinal studies.
Okay.
Yes, perfect.
And then the organization rules. Okay. And then, oh, I forgot it is Robert Karasek or Japcon. No?
Yes, question, secret, effort, reward imbalance. Yes, these are the
Oh, okay.
models that they don't call the Robert, or they only use the Karasek model. Maybe it is
Oh,
not.
okay.
Yes, no worries, but the model mentioned model, the Karasek
Oh,
model,
okay.
as the name is say, preventive measures and emphasize.
Because I think this
Yes,
very
WHO
interesting.
workplace prevention program is important. Raising awareness important. Assessing the hazard and elimination of the hazard to prevent risk is better. Instead of assessing risk, we focus on the hazard communication and assessing the hazards. After the raising awareness, you can indicate assessing the hazards.
Okay.
Assessing before the risk, because of the risk is afterwards. So it
Okay.
is important to put it before the risk, I think.
Okay.
Assessing hazards, creating awareness, yes. Raising awareness, assessing hazard, and assessing risk, taking corrective actions. It highlights that. Tailored, yeah, this is the most important part. Tailored occupational health programs is really important. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And then economic benefits.
Yes, it
I
has
got
high
it.
economic benefits.
Yeah. I think I need to consult with this sentences, because I think you mentioned about 70%, this kind of thing. Do we
Yeah,
need to
in
mention?
long run. Yeah, in long term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no need to mention it. In the long run, return on investment, in the long run, return on investment is important because it's a preventive action, preventive part, percentage higher than the treatment phase, of the services.
Prevention is more valuable.
Yes, prevention is better than the cure, as Ramazdini
Okay.
said. Thank you very much for giving this
Okay.
opportunity.
Then I will send this to you.
Thank you very
This
much.
is all the question. Maybe it was wrong when I wrote this conversation, but I tried my best.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Stop. Thank you very much. So I would like to hand over this screen to the master of ceremony, and also maybe I would like to introduce to the member of faculty members, starting from the head of the study program. Where is the chair of the study program, Professor Yuliani? And then all occupational safety and health faculty members, please open your mics and try to introduce yourself one by one. Hello. Okay. Professor Yuliani.
Hello.
Okay, please
Hello.
introduce our team one by one.
Thank you. I'm lucky.
Okay, I want to introduce myself. My name is Juliani Sianingsih. Hello, nice to meet you, Prof.
It's my
Sibel.
pleasure.
Now, she is the chair of our study program in occupational safety and health. And then Bina Kurniawan. He is the junior 1 year or 2 years from my batch. Please introduce yourself. He logged in through different accounts. Okay. Okay, please unmute yourself. Unmute. Okay.
My name is Bina Kurniawan. And you, my Occupational Safety and Health Faculty of Agriculture, Universitas Diponegoro University. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then Miss Ekawati.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Miss Ida Wahyuni, the chairs of the Division of Occupational Safety and Health, is actually the seat to make an extension and improve to be the study program. Okay, please
Perfect.
introduce yourself.
Okay, hello, Prof. Sibel.
Hello.
Prof. Sibel. Thank you for share your experience. It's so aha.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My
Okay,
Okay, thank
pleasure.
you.
and
I
then
hope you benefited. I hope you benefited. It is really valuable for me. Maybe in future we can build research, and you can actually I can help. I can share my experience what we did in here as a research, and you can try to apply that procedure or that research process in your own country to create a national level awareness in the
yeah.
country.
Okay, for the future, maybe. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Please
you.
note that Professor Sibel Kiran should be invited as the keynote speaker and our next ICO PhD. We have a biennial conference,
Oh,
international
that's very
conference.
nice.
So
I
I would love
agree.
to
Agree.
Oh,
invite
thank
you
you.
again.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And then Dr. Siswi, where is Dr. Siswi Jayanti? Hello.
I would like to take a picture at the end with the faculty. That would be
Sure.
good for
Let's,
me. Then, and if they all give permission for me to use
yeah.
that picture as my colleagues in over there, that will be nice for me. Thank you.
Ya, so silahkan semua dosen K3 mic-nya di-unmute supaya terlihat di paling atas. Semua dosen K3. Oke, Prof. Yuliani. Oke, and then Dr. Siswi. And then Mbak Cita. Mana Mbak Cita?
Yeah, this was general overview,
Okay,
the
Prof.
presentation. So
Oke.
Try
maybe we
to
can try to create a workshop with the faculty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kenapa hanya 6 ya? Biasanya banyak. Oh, Dokter Daru mana Dokter Daru? Dr. Siswi mana? Okay, we are missing 2 persons. I will
No
take.
worries.
Okay, are you ready? I will take a screenshot.
Thank you.
Excuse
Okay.
me, Professor.
Smile, please.
Smile,
Maybe
zero accident.
Kurang ke
Yes,
atas.
zero.
Agak. Nah, gitu. Okay.
excuse me,
Zero.
Professor.
Ya.
Yes,
May I help to count for the group photo session?
thank you.
Okay, in my count, 1, 2, 3. Zero accident pose. Zero accident pose. 1, 2, 3. Okay, formal pose, please. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You really allocate your very, very long hour for us. So we really greatly appreciate for your sacrifice and your kindness to share everything with our students and our college faculty members of occupational safety and health.
Thank you
So,
very much. It's real
so
privilege for me.
please, I will send the draft of our MOU to collaborate in the future. Kindly assist us in really manifesting and executing our collaborations. We also have, I think we would like to, save money to really visit your university in the future.
Thank you.
Also, if you have any conference or event, then we would love to also visit your university. We will try to, when we go to Umrah, then we can also drop by to Istanbul.
It'll be good to see you in here.
Sure. Okay. Anyone want to say message or expectation or wish or whatever?
Thank you very much.
I think this is the must listen guest lecture, right? It's very engaging and very interactive. And the students also, as well as our faculty members, also our college, were so excited to really learn what you have delivered. And it was such an interesting presentations, and also they are so wonderful, your studies. I think I will try to also re-explain what you have delivered in our classroom discussion. And if you don't mind, I would love to really explore your Google Scholar and to show to my students with regard to your
Thank you
studies.
very much.
Okay.
No worries. You can
So,
actually, my CV, I think, includes the less publication than I have. So you can use
indeed.
the Google Scholar and my org ID.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
So, we always meet Bunda and Professor Sibel Kiran. I think we meet every 3 years, yeah? 2 or 3 years, yeah?
yes,
And
at least.
Munich and Morocco and everywhere. Okay. Thank you very much. And
I think we will see each other tomorrow. We have a chairs meeting in ICO.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I have.
Martin Organs and then
Oh, really? So the
yes,
scientific committee
tomorrow.
chairs. Oh, okay. I will try to
New chairs
open my
meeting,
email.
the first chairs meeting under the new vice presidency will be held in online tomorrow.
Online. Okay. Kindly forward the invitation because I think I overlooked the incoming email. So I would love to join.
I
Thank
will.
you very much. Oh my God, this is already 9 o'clock plus 29 minutes. So it's really 2 hours. You have joined us for like 2.5 hours. It's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. And
Thank you very
apologize
much.
if there is some what we call it hindrances or everything.
Nothing.
And we really
Nothing.
very grateful for hosting you. Thank you very much.
It was my
Selamat malam.
pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, terima
I,
kasih.
thank
Okay,
you. See you.
bye-bye.
Thank
Okay,
you. Bye.
Thank
How can
you.
I
Thank
say
bye-bye.
again?
you.
Please tell me. How can I say again in Indonesia?
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima
Selamat
kasih.
malam mean good evening.
Terima kasih.
Okay, terima kasih. Syukran.
Terima kasih. Shukran.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. And cheers all to all students.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oke, semua boleh dibuka mic-nya untuk say goodbye. Semua boleh
Never
dibuka
work
mic-nya.
hard.
Open all mic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Cheers. Thank you so
Professor.
Thank
much.
you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
It was a real pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Professor Dr. Sibel Kiran, for your insightful presentation of psychosocial factor in occupational health. I personally really enjoy our discussion today, and the topic itself really relevant with my major actually. And thank you so much to Professor Hanifa for moderate our discussion today. And we have learned so much about this crucial aspect of workplace well-being. So, for the next agenda, we now have the virtual presentation of certificates to the speaker, Professor Dr. Siber Kiran, MD, PhD, by moderator Professor Hanifa Mayardani, SKM, MPH, PhD. To the committee member in charge, please proceed.
Okay.
Okay. May I help to count, Prof?
Okay.
Okay, in my count, 1, 2, 3. Next pose, zero accident pose. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much to Professor Dr. Sibakira and Professor Hanifa.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Salwa.
You're welcome, Professor.
That's so beautiful.
Yes,
Oh,
very beautiful.
so
Very
do
well
you,
done.
Professor. Okay, next we'll have the virtual presentation or certificate to the moderator, Professor Hanifa Maherdeni, SKM, MPH, PhD. To the committee member in charge, please proceed. Okay, for the first pose is smile. My eye count, 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the next pose is zero accident. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Hanifa. See you in class.
See you.
Okay.
Okay.
For
Bye bye. Can we
bye,
leave
Prof.
now?
Sure, Prof. If you have
Okay.
another agenda, feel free to
Yeah,
leave.
because they are going to have more gathering.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, Professor.
So, okay.
Thank you
Safe,
so much.
safe travel home.
Sure, Prof. So do you. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
Prof. Have a good night, Prof.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Bye.
Yeah.